Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the major atmospheric pollutants that we see in our sky, in our atmosphere, in our environment, and how they are released, what is their what is the impact that we see on the human health. This kind of discussion becomes very important in the context of the recent news where the atmospheric pollution level of the capital city of Delhi had shot up by more than 20 to 30 times than the average normal level, and also this is at right now it is at least 7 to 8 times higher than the average pollution that we see in the other metropolitan cities of India such as Mumbai and Delhi. So again, the reason why this particular topic is a news, because recently rising pollution levels in North India have led to the focus of returning on the AQI subject air quality index score, that is a measure of the air pollution. Delhi, for instance, recorded an AQI score of more than 400 on Monday. This puts the air in the severe category, with anything beyond 100 considered to be a state of at least moderate pollution on the index. So first of all, let us try to understand some brief points about the AQI, that is the air quality index. AQI basically transforms the complex air quality data that the scale or that the what I can say instrument collects from the environment, and then all the collective data of various pollutants are processed together into a single number for the ease of understanding, especially for the general public. The pollutant data that AQI captures are PM10, that is particulate matter 10, PM2.5, that is particulate matter 2.5. Both are basically solid dust particle floating around the atmosphere. PM10 representing such particles which are having diameter of less than 10 microns, while 2.5 are those particles which are having diameter less than or up to 2.5 microns. Apart from these two types of PM particles, nitrogen dioxide, ozone and carbon etc. are the major pollutants that are captured as per AQI. This index was first of all prepared by the central government body, that is CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board. It took the initiative for developing a National Air Quality Index, also referred as an AQI, for Indian cities. And this is a tool to disseminate information on air quality in qualitative terms, that is good, satisfactory, poor, as well as its associated likely health impact on the different classes of the citizens. So briefly, we try to summarize the impact or the effect of air pollution that we're seeing in the cities around us. Air pollution shortens the average Indian life expectancy by 5.2 years. This is a data that has been taken by the WHO, World Health Organization. Similarly, we talk about 1.4 billion people in India are living in the areas where the annual average particulate pollution level exceeds the WHO guideline. And since 1998, average annual particulate pollution has increased in India by almost 42%. Now, the major culprit behind this kind of morbid or morose data can be associated with the rapid level of industrial pollution. Apart from that, the dust, that is a pollutant that is released by the unregulated, or what we can say, a large scale construction activity that is going on around all the metropolitan cities of India, obviously due to the surge in demand driven by the rural to urban migration. And apart from that, the case has become more worsened due to the large number of vehicles that are continuously coming on the roads in India. Obviously, this can be related to the economic growth as well, because the purchasing capacity of Indian consumers has continuously risen. A lot of people have basically migrated from the low class to the middle class in terms of the economic affluency, and this has given a rise in the demand of the vehicles, whether it is two-wheeler vehicles or whether it is a four-wheeler vehicle. So collectively, construction, industrial pollution, vehicular exhaust, vehicular emission, all these, apart from that, here and every now and then, when these are basically confluencing with certain sort of what I can say is the climatic factor, weather factor, then the obviously situation becomes more worse. So let us try to understand each of the pollutant that are captured by the AQI in slightly more detail. So first of all, we have particulate matter 10 and particulate matter 2.5, which are extremely fine PM particles with a disease accompanying them referring to their diameter, as we have discussed before. 1 micron, to understand, is the size of about a thousandth of millimeter, and this tiny size has a role to play in how these materials or how these matters impact the health. Basically, if you try to understand, this is how the matter can be referred to. And the finer the particles, that means the smaller the size of particulate matter, the more difficult it gets to protect oneself from them. Because obviously, if the particulate matter are quite larger in size, it will basically be prevented from entering into our body by the outer mechanisms such as nostril hairs and all these nostril hairs and the skin itself. PM 2.5 particles can easily bypass the nose and throat and can enter the circulatory system. The chronic diseases such as asthma, heart attack, bronchitis, and other respiratory problems are something that is directly associated with the inhalation of the PM particles or particulate matters. Now, obviously, the origin of these matters can be attributed as a byproduct of emission from factories, vehicular pollution, construction activities, road dust. Such particles not disperse and stay suspended in the air that we breathe. The second, if we talk about again, like the AQI that we have discussed about. So basically, depending on what is the value of PM and other particles on the in the environment, overall we can say total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 types of color coding has been done. For example, if the color code associated with AQI is portrayed as green, it means the air quality is good in nature and it will have minimal impact on the people. Then second, we have is light green color, which refers to the satisfactory nature of air pollution or air quality, and here the people can face minor breathing discomfort. Is not to everyone, but to those people who are of sensitive nature, sensitive in case of having certain pre-existing respiratory illnesses. The third color coding has been done, that is yellow, which relates to moderate level of air quality, where breathing discomfort to the people with lungs, asthma and heart diseases becomes very common. Then we have orange, that relates to the poor air quality, where we'll have breathing discomfort to the most people if they are exposed to such kind of air for an extended prolonged period of time. Then we have red, which refers to very poor, where respiratory illnesses on prolonged exposure is common to all sections of society, all the people of the society. And last, the worst we can say is the dark red, which refers to the severe level of air pollution, the most degraded state of the air quality, where it will affect the healthy people even and seriously impact those with existing diseases. So, particulate matter plays a very important role in determining that what is the quality or what is the quality of air and what is the extent of air pollution. Apart from these, some gaseous pollutants are also present in the atmosphere. For example, we have nitrogen dioxide, that is NO2. The main origin or the major source of origin of this particulate gaseous pollutant is by burning of fuel, with sources including emissions from vehicles as well as power plants. And basically, to curb the nitrogen dioxide pollutants or pollution level, government has time to time upgraded the norms that is required in the engines of vehicles. So recently we have Bharat stage 4. So once Bharat stage 4 is completely implemented, which already is in the process, it will reduce significantly the level of nitrogen dioxide on our atmosphere. Apart from that, if we talk about its effect on the health, so if the short-term exposure is to the NO2, it can aggravate respiratory diseases like asthma, coughing or difficulty in breathing as per the US EPA, that is United States Environmental Protection Agency. On the other hand, if an individual is exposed for a long duration of time to the NO2, they may also contribute to the development of asthma and could increase susceptibility to the respiratory infection. Basically, exposure to NO2 even for a short duration between 0 and 7 days leads to an increase in the number of emergency room visits by 53%. This is the data that has been captured with reference to the New Delhi. The third very major pollutant that we have is ozone. Now, interestingly, ozone is a kind of gaseous element that is present in our troposphere as well as stratosphere. Troposphere is the part of atmosphere where we breathe in. The stratosphere is the layer above. So, if the ozone is present in the stratosphere, it is called as a good ozone because it protects us from the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun. On the other hand, if it is present in the troposphere, it acts as a pollutant because then the people can directly inhale ozone. So, what we can say that surface level ozone is among the most significant air pollutant, and it is formed by the reaction of atmospheric pollutants in the presence of sunlight. Now, ozone obviously, I think all of you must know about. It is O3, which is made up of 3 oxygen elements which are joined together, largely forming due to oxygen element plus oxygen molecule. The sources of ozone again are same like nitrogen dioxide, motor vehicular exhaust, industry, as well as forest fires or bushfires. Exposure to ozone comes from the air we breathe. Impact can be varying in various degrees. Example is respiratory system can be impacted, And then the prolonged exposure can also impact and damage the cardiovascular system. And this is something that we can also see around us in India. If you compare the data that has been captured from the National Family Health Survey, between 1995 to 2020, there has been increase in almost 40 to 50% in the cases of in the number of patients who are diagnosed with the cardiovascular diseases, that is diseases related to the heart. Groups which are most at risk due to ozone inhalation are the elderly people, those who already are suffering from certain lung related elements, and the children. Then third is ammonia. Ammonia, we have seen a significant increase, especially in the North India, and this is related to the broad increase in fertilizer use in the northern plains of India, or the Great Plains of North India, which is also coupled with large contribution from livestock waste, cattle waste, and this has resulted in world's highest concentration of atmospheric ammonia as of now. While gaseous ammonia is a natural part of Earth's nitrogen cycle, the excess ammonia is harmful to both plants and reduces air and water quality as well. For example, in troposphere, when the ammonia concentration increases, it can react with the other elements present such as nitric acid, sulfuric acid, and can form nitrate containing particles. Apart from that, those particles contribute to aerosol pollution that is damaging to the human health. And then when they fall back to earth during the time of rainfall, they can enter the lakes, streams, different water bodies, oceans, and there they can contribute to the harmful algal blooms, that is also referred as HABs. The harmful algal blooms create dead zones in the water bodies. Because of the sudden increase in the ammonia concentration in the water bodies, you have algal bloom that happens at uncontrolled rate, and these algae spread over the entire upper surface of the water, which does not allow sunlight to move through it. And if the sunlight does not pass through the upper level of water, what will happen? There will be deficiency of oxygen in the water body. Due to the deficiency of oxygen, what will happen? The animals will start, the fishes and the other marine organisms, animals will start to die out. That will cause increase in the BOD, that is biological oxygen demand of the water, which will further deteriorate the water quality. So dangerously low oxygen level in the water bodies can be directly associated with the increased level of ammonia in our atmosphere. The other pollutant that we can discuss about is the sulfur dioxide. Now, sulfur dioxide, SO2, the formula is obviously there. It is this kind of yellowish material that we can say. So, US government's EPA has said that the largest source of SO2 in the atmosphere is the burning of fossil fuels by power plants and other industrial facilities. Now, additional sources obviously are industrial processes, and natural sources, we know that it is volcanism. Whenever volcanic eruption happens, a huge amount of SO2 and H2S, hydrogen sulfide gases, are released. And that is why across the world, if you look at the areas where you have the highest deposit of sulfur and sulfur-based element, you'll find it is around the volcanic mountainous region. Now, obviously, SO2 exposure is harmful to the cardiovascular system directly, and it also is contributes to the development of respiratory illnesses. SO2 can also react with other compounds in the atmosphere to form particulate matter, and at high concentration, gaseous SOx can harm trees and plants by damaging foliage and decreasing growth. Not only that, if they are present in huge volume, huge amount in the atmosphere, they can react with the water as a liquid form. They get dissolved there and can cause acid rain by forming H2SO4. Then we have the lead. Lead is naturally occurring toxic metal that is found in the Earth's crust. The origin of lead can be traced to the activities such as mining, smelting, manufacturing, and even recycling activities according to the World Health Organization. Young children are particularly vulnerable to the lead poisoning because they absorb 4 to 5 times as much ingested lead as adults from a given source. And children who survive severe lead poisoning may be left with permanent intellectual disability and behavioral disorder. The reason is because lead is a substance that directly impacts the neuromuscular health of an individual. And thus, there can be inconsistencies and abnormalities in the cognitive capacities. And what we can say is it can lead to cognitive impairment of an individual. At lower level of exposure that causes no obvious symptom, lead is now known to produce a spectrum of injury across multiple body systems. So that is all about this particular video. I hope you understood about the major atmospheric pollutants, especially those which are captured by our air quality index, the reason behind their origin, their rise, and the various multidimensional impact on the human health. That is all for this video. Thank you very much.